Hi, and welcome to the Organic Beehive. Today, I'm just going to share a few health updates. First, I wanted to talk about just kind of my journey and what I'm going through as far as miscarriage goes. So none of this would be possible if it weren't for the organization that I go through for insurance. I personally was in the market for new insurance actually a couple years ago. So I've been on this for a couple years, and the reason why I transitioned was because getting insurance through my husband's work was getting more and more expensive each and every year. And the problem I had with it was that I wasn't even using it. And so I wanted to look for something a little less expensive. And so a friend of mine told me about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a Christian organization, and what you do is, it's just like any insurance where you're paying them monthly. They have 3 different levels that you can choose from. So there's bronze, silver, and gold. Obviously, gold being the best coverage, but also the most expensive. So right now, I'm currently on their gold package, which is what I signed up for a while ago because we knew we were going to start trying to have a baby again. And their coverage as far as maternity care was excellent. So if I were to go to a midwife and go through them through maternity care, it was all covered. Now with my first, I don't even remember what insurance I was under. It was whatever my husband's job was associated with. But I still had to pay out of pocket like half of it. So it was a little expensive. So this time around I was actually really excited because that was one less thing to stress about. Now obviously it's changed a little bit to where, now that I've dealt with the miscarriage, that to them is considered an incident. And so any doctor's appointments and tests getting done for that incident of miscarriage, they will cover if it's over 500. So think about, you have a deductible of 500 that you have to meet. And if you go over that, then they will reimburse you for that. And that's kind of what's a little different from Christian Healthcare Ministries, from the insurance that we are all used to, is that you're paying out of pocket right away. So most of the time, these doctors' offices will ask for your insurance companies. You go in there and you tell them that you are self-pay. So yes, you are going to pay from your money up front, whether that's a savings account or even a credit card. So I love to use that to gather points, reward points, so I can use that for, say, flying or whatever. Not that we do that very much, but it's nice to have that option. So you would pay out of pocket. A lot of times you ask if they have a discount. They can even have a payment plan, but you would then, after you pay, you would give Christian Healthcare Ministries all the paperwork that they require. Usually that's like an itemized bill or receipt of what you had done at the appointment. And then once that's filled out and you have uploaded that to their website, they will then reimburse you. Because I feel like insurance, you have to go with whatever it is that they have coverage on. And I don't always want to go that route. I want to have responsibility and decide what I want to do to my own body. So you have more options, I suppose, going through Christian healthcare ministries. You get to decide, and then they will reimburse you. Now, it gets a little tricky because now that I'm dealing with fertility, obviously with fertility specialists, there's a lot more science that goes into it, say if you're trying to have a baby. And because it is a Christian organization, there are some requirements and guidelines as far as what they will reimburse you for. So that's kind of all I'm going to go through as far as Christian healthcare ministries and the insurance that our family chooses. But feel free to look up their website. I'm going to leave a link in the description below, and it's actually a specific link. It is my link. Anybody can do this. If you out there watching are already a member, you can send out referral links as well. And if somebody ends up joining, and I don't know, I'm actually not sure of the specifics, but you can get some reimbursement for your bill if you are able to refer someone. So it's a really great program. Look it up if it resonates with you. But that is what we are currently using through all of this. This has been quite a journey for me. With my past miscarriage, I didn't go to a doctor to figure things out. It was my very first pregnancy. I knew that it happened, so I didn't ask for help. And then the next pregnancy went full term, so I didn't really worry about it. This time around, it's a little bit more messy because I have a history of miscarriages. So I've had 5 pregnancies and one of them went full term. That was my daughter. So obviously there is an issue. After this miscarriage, we decided, my husband and I, that I was going to see a doctor. This is rationally, logically speaking. I am getting older. I'm not necessarily looking for help in getting pregnant. I still want to do it naturally. But with that said, I don't want to continue down this path having my daughter going through it with us. So she already went through that first miscarriage, and I don't want her to go through that emotional roller coaster if it's going to happen again. And my husband and I just want closure, and we just want to know whether our bodies are equipped to have another baby or if it's not in the cards. All we're looking for is an answer at this point. So that is kind of the idea behind us going and looking for professional help. So I did go to an OBGYN last week, and we just had a consultation. I went over history. I actually had blood work done. It was just routine blood work done when I was pregnant, and I gave her the results of that. And as far as she could see, there were no issues, which is positive news, but at the same hand is there something deeper going on? So she did refer me to a fertility specialist. And so now I'm kind of in the works of setting up appointments and giving them certain results of tests that I've had done already. And also, not to mention, I have my daughter with me at home because I homeschool and my husband works. So it's, we don't have family around here to help watch my daughter. So it's been messy and hard and difficult for me because it's not that it's all on me, because my husband wants to help, but there's a lot more tests that need to be done for the woman, And I can't be like, hey, can you set up an appointment and make him the middle guy? And it's just, that's not, it's easier if I do it. But still, you know, it's been a month and a half since all of this happened. And last time I could just kind of go on with my life. I was still sad, but there weren't constant reminders. And so with dealing with insurance and working with doctors and setting up appointments and doing tests, it's that constant reminder of what happened. And so if you're going through this, I feel you. I am going through the same exact thing. So I'm still kind of in the middle of it all. I've got some testing that I need to do very soon, and I don't know. I guess I hope there's an answer, but in the end, there might not be. So that's kind of the hard part. Okay, now all of that out of the way, let's talk about my general protocol for when somebody gets sick. So there's been this virus going around, and what's funny is I don't know if it's just in our local area or if it's just everywhere, because we talked to my father-in-law who lives out of state, and he said the same thing. All the kids are getting sick, and it's a bad one. It's a bad virus. Kids are getting put in the hospital over this and dealing with it for weeks, and I don't know. We got very lucky. My daughter came down with a virus on Friday, and by Sunday she had turned the corner. So we consider ourselves very lucky in that aspect. But we also try, and the first sign of illness, we start this general protocol. And I call it that. I call it general because when you're coming down with something, usually that first day, you're feeling off, but you're not quite sure what is going on. So that is why I do the general protocol. It can work for a lot of things: cold, flu, earache, stomach bug, whatever. But my philosophy around illness is that those symptoms that your body is going through is actually helping your body. So a fever, that higher temperature, is actually trying to increase the action of your immune system. So that is a good thing. I am not necessarily scared of fevers. Obviously, I monitor how high it is, but I don't try and get rid of it right away. Coughing helps expel the waste that is in your lungs. Sneezing helps get that waste that is out, gets that waste out of your sinuses. And you know, even vomiting is helping getting that harmful ingested material out. So I don't try and suppress the symptoms per se, but I do give our bodies the tools that it needs to help continue to fight it. Now, just because I give you a general protocol doesn't mean that it's just gonna cure it. Again, we're just supporting the body in this. And honestly, it's really hard to be able to fight off illness if you yourself don't have a healthy lifestyle. So getting movement in, eating a healthy diet, drinking water, cooking meals at home, getting outside, all of those things are going to help you not only, you know, prevent you from getting sick, but it's gonna help your body fight it off faster. Now, a lot of people are gonna recommend for a general protocol that you take supplements. I believe they help, but honestly, sometimes I don't really notice a difference. Some people can go overboard and recommend like 10 different supplements for an illness. And me personally, living on one income, I can't afford all those supplements. So I get a little more picky and choosy as far as what supplements I do recommend. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a medical professional. This is not medical advice. This is just more what we do as a family. So some of the things that I like to do in the winter season is supplement with vitamin C, and you can do this through food as well. I also like to supplement with a probiotic because 90% of your immune system is in your gut, and so gut health is of utmost importance. So a probiotic or getting fermented foods in is going to really help during the winter season. And like I said, just eating that healthy diet and eating foods close to nature and just making food from scratch. Sometimes in the winter too, I will make elderberry syrup. So we will take, for children, we take a teaspoon daily, and then for adults, you can take a tablespoon. Obviously, anybody under 1 cannot have the elderberry syrup because it is made with honey, but I do know you can make your own using maple syrup as well. Honey has a few more extra benefits if you are sick. It is for taste too, so for the little ones, if you are going to make it, maple syrup will work. It just won't have the added benefit that the honey would. As far as supplements go, that's really all that I do. And then I make sure that I'm getting outside often during those winter months to get that extra vitamin D. Now, before I go into my general protocol, I do want to share that there is not one right way to support your body when it is sick. Take my advice and see what you have in your cupboards and utilize what you already have. Because again, there's no one right way to do it. There are so many different ways. You get to pick what you resonate with and what you have lying around the house. So the number one thing I do when somebody gets sick is we stop eating. Now, that's not to say we stop taking in calories and we stop nourishing ourselves. That's not what I'm saying. What we normally do is we start to concentrate more on herbal teas, broths, things like that. I like to have bone broth on hand, whether that's something you purchase at the store or whether that is something you have already made and you have frozen in your freezer, or I know people who also can broth as well. Store-bought broths and stocks are very hard to find because if you look at the nutritional value of the broth, you will notice that they actually don't have protein in it. It'll have like 1 gram of protein for the broth. Broth is so nutrient dense and nourishing, and it's full of protein. So that is one of the first things I actually look at is how much protein is in there. And those cheap stocks and broths just don't have it. What I like to do is just have a batch on hand in the freezer so that when somebody does get sick, it's really easy and quick to whip up something. I've also seen people make bone broth hot chocolate and bone broth popsicles, which obviously with the little ones, they might not like bone broth. And so you want to make it a little bit more kid friendly. What you could do, and this is especially great if you're sick, a lot of times my daughter will complain of a dry throat, and so popsicles are just perfect for this. Half juice, half bone broth. You've got a quick snack that also nourishes them. The reason I do say to stop eating is because you want to concentrate on fighting the illness. You don't want all that energy going toward digesting food. Number 2, the second thing I like to do for a general protocol is warming socks. And what warming socks does is it acts like a pump for your blood and lymph, and it boosts your immune system. So just before bed, you're gonna take a warm bath. When you get out of the bath, you want to make sure that you are still warm. Then you're going to want to wet a pair of thin cotton socks and make sure that that water is cold, and then you're going to put that on their feet. Make sure to wring out those socks too. And then you're going to add a pair of wool socks over it. You're gonna cover yourself really well and then sleep through the night with both pairs of socks on. So what happens is when you fall asleep, your body works to warm up the socks. So what happens is upon falling asleep, your body is gonna work on drying and warming up those cotton socks. And then what that does is it creates condensation and heat. Then your body works on cooling your body down and drying your feet. And that cycle just continues and continues throughout the night. And hopefully when you wake up, those socks will be dry. And what this really does is it influences the circulation of your blood. The number 3 thing that we do in our house, and this is pretty self-explanatory, but we try and take as many naps as you can and get as much sleep as you can at night. I tell my daughter always, who is a ball full of energy, that she needs to focus on sleep when she is sick. And then number 4, I already mentioned the preventative supplements, so probiotics, vitamin C, elderberry syrup. But when we are sick, I really just double up on those supplements to really help, kickstart that healing. But those are my really easy 4 simple tips you can do right away when you are sick, whether you know what you have or you don't. What I love about these natural remedies is that there are no crazy side effects. So if you didn't end up being sick or who knows what, none of these things are going to harm you in any way. So this is just what our family likes to do, and I hope you found it helpful as well. Thanks so much for watching. If you are new here and you like what I'm sharing, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments, what are some things that you like to do at your home when you are sick as well. As always, thanks for watching, and I will